Welcome back to Metal Ben's Chronicles, where metal lives. That's right, today's a pretty important day because today is the 30th anniversary of a pretty important album. That's right. And of course I'm talking about the 1992 album released on July 14th of 1992, here to commemorate 30 years. We're talking about Countdown to Extinction. That's right. Man, you know, me and this album go all the way back. All the way back to when it was first released. For me, I can remember hearing the Symphony of Destruction single a month before the album came out on a radio station we used to have around here called 97 Rock, you know. And I remember watching an episode of Headbangers Ball 2 around this time too, where I believe Dave Ellefson and Marty Friedman were on it, and they were talking about the Countdown to Extinction album on Headbangers Ball. I do remember this. I think that's how I first saw Megadeth's Wake Up Dead video too, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. It might have been before that, but anyways, yes, that's how I pretty much came into Countdown to Extinction. I remember a friend of mine got it on cassette right when it first came out. I remember listening to it. You know, I would eventually get a copy of Countdown to Extinction for myself. So yeah, it's an album that I've lived with since it pretty much came out. You know, now my initial reaction to the album, and it's really weird because I did not like the Black Album at the time by Metallica, but I still liked Countdown to Extinction. To me, it still had some edge and bite to it, and to me the production has a good punch to it, you know. So it's an album by Megadeth I've never hated, even though yes, it is slightly more commercial, you know, than Rust in Peace and the albums that came before it, this being the 5th studio album by Megadeth. Of course, you get 11 tracks produced by Max Norman. This would actually be the last Megadeth album with the combat logo on it, yes. And of course, you know, we got the original version right here, obviously. This version I would boycott. This is that 2004 reissue, the remastered. Yeah, it's got a couple demos on it. It's got an early demo of Countdown to Extinction, the title track on it, where it's a little more gallopy and a little more fast-paced, you know. It's got a couple other demos on here. It's got another track on here called Crown of Worms, which was a leftover, I believe, from the Countdown to Extinction recording sessions, but I believe it was on a Diamond Head album, or it was going to be, or something. But yeah, you got Crown of Worms. You know, there was a couple other tracks around too that were put out at the time for movie soundtracks, like Go to Hell, which ended up on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And you have oh, what's the other one? Breakpoint, that's it. That would be on Super Mario Brothers, that terrible movie that came out in '93. So yeah, those two songs were recorded around that time. Personally, I think Breakpoint should have been on the album. Maybe even Go to Hell, because they're both excellent tracks. I mean, anyway, I digress. But yeah, so yeah, I would definitely boycott this version if you have to. Get the original version. There's no reason why this had to be remixed and remastered, you know, and toyed with, you know, back in 2004 when Dave went through and reissued the Megadeth catalog at the time. The Capitol albums, that is. And what else do I got here? Okay. I got the single for Closure of a Dream here. So yeah, kind of cool. It's got a live version of Skin of My Teeth and a For Closure of a Dream edited version. Yeah. And in 2012, they put out Countdown to Extinction Live, where they played a whole entire album in its entirety. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have as far as my Countdown to Extinction collection. And I don't want to keep this video too long, because this Sunday on my other YouTube channel, the Metal Bastards Podcast, or the Metal Bastards Hangout Podcast, excuse me, we are going to be doing an album review and discussion, talking about this legendary album on Sunday night at 11 p.m. over on that channel, so subscribe to that channel indeed. And that's pretty much it for this video. I guess before I end this, has Countdown to Extinction lived up 30 years later? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. You know, I think it's an excellent album still. It's probably my fourth favorite Megadeth album. You know, if I were to rank it, I easily give the album a 9.5 out of 10. I still think it's a great album all these years later. It's definitely better than the Black Album to me. It's still heavier than the Black Album, too. I mean, like I said, you know, yeah, it's more radio friendly with tracks like Symphony of Destruction, you know, For Closure of a Dream. It's kind of an attempt at a thrash metal ballad, I guess you would say. I mean, and Ashes in Your Mouth is still a damn heavy track. To me now, Ashes in Your Mouth could have easily been on Rust in Peace, you know, but I digress. Anyways, lineup-wise, Dave Mustaine, obviously, Dave Ellefson on bass, Marty Friedman on lead guitars, and Nick Menza on drums, and Nick Menza does some killer drum work on the album, and Marty Friedman does some killer lead work on this album, you know. That's pretty much it, man. Still a great album all these years later. Still one of Megadeth's best albums. Some people would probably rank it as their favorite Megadeth album, you know. But anyways, short little video on Countdown to Extinction. Keep it metal, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Peace.